Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and today I've got a little talk for you called Integrity and Authority Live in the Truth. I gotta roll 'cause I thought that way too many fools believed the lies that they say is reality. So I'll spend the whole day funky. I'll spend the whole day stoned, acting silly like a monkey just to help me feel at home. Integrity and authority live in the truth. What do I mean? Where is the honesty of the unelected false rulers of our planet? Through a process known as psychic epigenetic entrainment. In other words, via or through all of the factors in your immediate environment. Everything around you, the beautiful insects, as well as all the way up to mind control and gadgetry and all of that. In other words, all of the factors of everything in your environment, a human's perspective, opinions, ideas, concepts, and lifestyles, it all affects your genetics. It all affects your DNA. How you feel about things and how you interact, all the things you interact with. Most humans, aside from the obvious geographic differences in places and the lifestyles are going to be different related to the geography, of course. It seems humans can these days be made to believe almost anything. To the untrained matrix brain, to all the surrounding influences and spirits, as upper par, to all the entities, to all the dark side minions. A person with narcissistic personality disorders or controlled by them, or someone who's a solipsist, or someone who has borderline personality disorder, or so-called untrained empaths who are controlled through business relationships with these fools, cannot, and openly, willfully ignorant, will not ever be around anyone who has any more discernment, and never ever be open to anyone being better at something than them or teaching them, unless they've gotten wealthy from it or they've proven that they're their guru. It's sometimes they believe in all that crap. So the openly willfully ignorant, it seems they cannot witness anyone or anything with more than the minuscule teeny tiny amount of integrity they might wield sometimes, usually. What is the definition of the word integrity? Integrity is everything in the spiritual path. When you compromise can always squander your results. Who or what is your real authority, and why do I say or claim they exist and live only in the real, whole truth? If you can become respectful and harmless, I know that's a huge, tall order for most folks these days, right? With all the mind control to be violent and psychopathic. But imagine this: if you can become harmless and self-respect, have the highest level of self-respect, you can discern where the real authority of your beautiful story must be. In other words, if you know how to not hurt anyone else, you write the story. If you are awake, you write the plot, see? Where is the honesty in the unelected false rulers of our planet, our 1% criminal, so-called and illegally imposed international authority who are really just the lying mafia. What gives the governments false kings of tyranny, or in other words, the archons are archontically possessed? How did they get into the government? How did they get into these positions of so-called authority and power? Or those fully, or even those, even worse, fully, oftentimes, like politicians can become, fully animated by narcissistic predator entities, or what I call NPEs, the power, will, courage, and integrity to even begin to try to create a months-long forced planetary house arrest. CFR, get awake. Maybe in a couple hundred years or whatever, as soon as you can. Why can't I even say certain words or names without YT removing the video? Why is questioning the MMMs such a crime? Why does reality have to stay a big, overt mind control operation? And why do I have to use code abbreviations? Why is wage or property slavery an honest, legitimate activity? I mean, there's, I could list, or you could probably list, some of you, a half dozen reasons why the false authority censors would love to put my videos on a heavy shadow ban, and that's another one. Just because billions of souls have bought into this full-on taking of their entire lives, like half the planet. So it is in the forest. The sun keeps on moving. The sun keeps on moving when you're at my place, man. At least if they don't, all these people who obeyed the grand international mad scientist experiment, and they did it, who didn't love or respect their job. I mean, that's people who love or respect their job. It's different for them in the Matrix. Their karma's not as evil. Like if they love their job, why don't folks question this or organize against it? Well, they have, but I can't mention it here. Just as Kurt Vonnegut, like I said, because of my 150 CIA, NSA censor coworkers. Hi guys, love you. It's just as Kurt Vonnegut Jr. said in the preface to his novel, which was about a novel based on his life experience, called Slaughterhouse-5. If the powers of good can get organized along the lines of the mafia, the powers of good can overturn the powers of evil. That's what it says. And so I have to salute certain people who, again, I can't even name here, for organizing the good. The biggest organized crimes of all time against the entire planet mark not the beginning of transhumanism, Planet of the Digital Slaves, Humans 2.0, and the forcing of everyone into the fences of the international human prison or human farm planet. Nope. Not going to happen. Although they will try to play out their very well organized and financially lubricated frauds until the very bitter end, the mind control, all the extreme invisible killing sprees will continue till the very bitter end of the soulless, psychopathic, inverted, anti-life control agenda. Why all of the hating, gaslighting, and division and punishment for those within the established media, famous or successful legal physicians and movie stars, rock stars, the ones I can all list on one hand as far as the entertainers who adamantly remained in their integrity, like Van Morrison, who adamantly remained in their integrity and never broke the Hippocratic Oath. Well, that's a given. If you're one of my loyal fans, you know the answer. It's a given. It's an obvious answer. Again, love you, censor guys. Honestly, it is because if you have the duration, passion, and courage to research recent and ancient history diligently. I mean, when I say duration, I mean time. Like most people say, I don't have the time, or the patience, the courage, the discipline, the discernment, the ability to maintain the long hours it will take you to do that research. You will, if you do have it, you will find the establishments, the mainstream religions and governments have no real authority over any integrity or any integrity with very much truth or awareness. You know, just a few breadcrumbs, a few modicums, a tiny little pinch of divine truth mixed with a lot of frauds. Only a tiny bit of truth or integrity or awareness integrated with threats, bribes, mind control out the wazooski. And a lot of black magic and a lot of blood drinking and cults and circles and horrible sexual crimes and killing sprees and the attempted creation of endless wars. In short, the DS has no power or authority in the light of the real, under the light of the real Holy Christ Spirit, the real one. They only have the authority in those who are cowards and obedient to it. Okay? According to, I totally agree with what Sean Bond said. The dark side has no power that they didn't steal through war or coercion, tortures, and a lot of people say what happened several years ago was the biggest theft ever. And as an aware anarchist will tell you, the government is the real chaos and violent force around us. When it gets down to, when you get down to your research and observation, it's pretty blatant. All these things are obvious. I mean, I'm a spiritual first grade teacher here. I'm not telling you anything. I'm a political second grade teacher. I'm a psychology kindergarten teacher. I'm not here telling you anything new. A few times I have. It is difficult to face the fact that all you've been taught is mostly lies. This is why a lot of my old friends and bloodkins and acquaintances don't want to talk to me, or they'll say hi to me and walk away. And who wants to have to go through that process when I'm pretty much adamantly clear with everyone about that for years? Obeying the mainstream media or popular Abrahamic cults only results in cognitive dissonance and surrogates. You know, as I said I made a whole video called "Salvationism is Not Real." I want to say Christ in itai. Because you know what? Christianity adds the word "an." What is "an" at? Why does it have to be "an"? Anu. You add the anu. A Christian Bible thumper is a person who believes in Christ under the rules of anu. So obeying the mainstream media or popular Abrahamic cults only results in cognitive dissonance and surrogates. Fake junior gods or our older kin, the Elohim, our older half-brother Lucifer, can and will siphon your energy back into the big psychological hell on earth. That's what they designed this planet to be. A big prison work farm for humans to always fight and bicker with each other. Oh yeah, make up stories from 10 years ago and tell your children and tell your friends horrible things that I did 10 years ago that never happened. That's what several people around me that I've had to deal with really bad NPD and MPEs have been doing lately. This is what World War III is going to look like. You're going to have to see. This is why the millions of videos about narcissistic abuse are so popular, because at least, after the history of Project Mockingbird and MK Ultra, the CIA employees, 150 guys I'm working with here, I guess they want to repent in that way to allow people to learn the truth about psychology. What is integrity, really? What is it? To a morally stupid capitalist, profit and greed are integral. In other words, what Mark Passio said is that, for a lot of people, if you're brainwashed, a lot of times, or you're impoverished, you can easily be persuaded into the religion of money and think that money is God. So to a narcissist, to a narcissistic psychopath, or a sociopath, a predator, covert narcissist, it is whatever gives them energy supply, or what I call their loose strip, NPE loose strip. Okay? Loose integrates them into their lifelong psychological black hole, the identity of their fallen angel controllers. The kings and queens are just the murderers and thieves who got away with it. Someone told this to Rob Schneider, and I was watching him on the Bruniverse podcast on YouTube, and that's what he said. And when you think about it, I saw an ad, and I think I mentioned this before. I saw an ad in the free magazine they give out in the Cannabis Club dispensary, and it said that Rockefeller's dad, J.D. Rockefeller's dad, in the mid-1800s sold a drinkable petroleum product that was supposed to cure you of cancer and cure you of everything. And there was a reason why they were called the robber barons before. J.D. Rockefeller, who was, obviously had a lot of help from the dark beings. But, if evil could be genius, creating the school system, the allopathic system, calling all the natural healers quacks, and jailing all the, 3 or 4 people in this continent who came up with, North Americans who came up with organic cures for cancer, charging them $1 million fine, yada, yada, yada. So the robber barons have had full control over what most people perceive as reality, and what they put in their bodies for over a century. Okay, so integrity includes, since they created Hollywood, integrity includes the base word grit, right? What is it? Why is it integrity? Well, if you have integrity, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty gardening, or you're not afraid to do the shadow work in your subconscious mind. You're not afraid to look into your soul and kick out Lucifer or the false, the sick NPE voices that tell you to harm yourself and others. That's integrity. A person who's possessed by the dark spirits, they can't have that. Integrity refers to both your shadow work and possibly, sometimes you need physical hard work or gritty labor. Like Jordan Peterson says, you got to clean out your room. He knows a lot of people that would talk about what war policy should be, but hadn't cleaned out their room. So integrity means everything. It's the quality of your persona or character. A lot of people judge me for my flaws and refuse to consider me as a spiritual teacher or a friend or whatever, and that's the nature of how judgmental humanity can be. But we all have to accept that we have to have integrity, or We don't have to wait till we're dead for the destroyer angels, for Lucifer to try to terrify us and, scare us back into reincarnation. We got people in our lives now that are willing to do that, and that's why they're called that's why they're said to have NPEs or NPD. Integrity is the quality of your persona or character in the exterior human world, just like this is why the narcissist is obsessed with their the way they look, their reflection, the picture. They don't give a fuck about how they treat people. It's just, how does that picture look? Because they want to be perceived as having integrity. Not just China, but subconsciously everyone will judge you by meritocracy. So, not everyone, but probably 96% or so, or more or less, every soul that's not totally enlightened is going to look at what you've done and said your whole life, if they have to have a relationship with you before they decide to trust you, and judge you by everything, your integral, all the different aspects of your life. Do you have integrity? Look at trying to rent a room in a desirable place like this town, for example. Look at how many requirements the landlord or the housemates will have for your integrity. So that's subconsciously, most people will do that. Okay, they'll judge you by meritocracy, or how much respectful integrity or honesty and service to your tribe you offer. Capitalists will judge you by how much money you make and how you make it. And their religion, it doesn't matter how horrible your crime is. I mean, some of them, if a pure capitalist, well, there's a reason why, like I say, the god Mammon has no head, just big muscles, and the god of money that they worship, because he has no brains, he has no soul, no morality, no self-respect, but he can do lots of hard work. That's the god of money. I can understand why the majority who've been so heavily indoctrinated into to be possessions of a box assume I have no integrity or legitimacy speaking here, as I am in a camp. I receive because of illness that I'm not 100% clear of yet, unfortunately, that I'm healing is basically a contracted, one of the, in the New Earth Army, one of these contracted shamans, student shaman in the government, admittedly. Actually, perhaps you should note that I may share more integrity here, as I am not doing this to get money. You might note that means that I'm going to share more integrity in my information with you here, because I'm not trying to get rich quick. I'm not trying to get money, fame, or especially that after getting shadow banned, it's hard to say that I'm doing this for any selfish reasons, aside from self-actualization. I'm learning to be a spiritual teacher while I go. I'm applying the from my days as a covert narcissist, fake it till you make it tactics to, but at the same token, I have discipline. I have Mercury and Capricorn retrograde in my birth chart. I seem to be, socially retarded to some, but then others see that I have the discernment and the learning skills. And so the point of making these videos, aside from self-actualization and living my divine, sacred, harmless blueprint, yes, because I've intended to be a spiritual teacher, a wisdom teacher in this incarnation. Look past the slick, well-crafted pictures of our disgustingly smug, morally retarded, pretty images of our narcissistic predator false lords, mainstreaming Satanism, strutting around, spreading around inversions and lies all the time in their mainstream media and mind control games and traps. Look deep inside the pits of the psychological hells that have controlled most of our media and even thoughts lately, and face and discern the fact that nobody who goes along to get along, no one who harms others even at all, no one, aside from killing an animal to eat to survive, or eating an animal was just as much as you needed to survive. No one who psychologically tortures, smears, gaslights or censors and deletes videos or channels for telling the whole truth has any honesty or integrity, you all should quit your job. If you do that, you should quit your job. You have a horrible job. You got horrible karma, really bad stuff to look forward to. God, only the Creator knows what, you know. Whereas if you respect other people, if you honor them, if you treat them as divine beings too, if you realize that, you know what, you're not the idiot narcissist predator, you're not the one and only God, you're a part of it. You're a ray of the light of the sun. You're not the whole sun. No one is. Also, without love, there is no power, okay? And the more narcissistic, the more you have NPD or NPEs, the more you fall into that black hole, into that quicksand pit of self-possession, the more the love is gone, okay? It's a fake power. False authorities. As vastly intimidating, torturous, and killing as they are. As many wars for millions of years as they have won. As much atrocious self-harm that they can cause humans to do to themselves into these acts. In the fake-ass informed consent. Demonstrate what they are really about. To integrate into humanity, even if you have to try to do it in the way that I've attempted to do it here. We all must create communities or join ones that are not rotten, or, you know, if they're rotten, then maybe you have to settle for it being much smaller. By 2024, for the awakened souls, the cat's out of the bag. I don't see why you want to delete any of my shit, because all the stuff I say is what's known. BG actually is a psychic, like all narcissistic predators or people possessed in that way, a psychic toddler with his hand on an A-bomb. As long as they, you know, people keep on taking more and more and more, and they can, you know, who knows what the results of the experiment is going to be, but my analogy is, or my energetic feeling about it is that he is literally a toddler with his hand on an A-bomb, even though he's 70, whatever. The only place integrity and authority have any real life, thus, obviously, is within the truth and the hearts of ensouled humans who are aware of the true original creator, Christ Sophia, who can live in the truth because they know how to be respectful. The creator who gave us all free will. That's the truth. So help me, divine goddess. Because becoming free, you will emanate real authority. The more free you become, you will remember, what does that mean? What is the real authority? What does real integrity mean to you? You will learn in integrity when you are within her overstanding of your soul. Living within harmlessness, you can become free. Becoming free, you will emanate real authority. Respectful Christ light will be the only ruler in our future. Okay? And we will thrive while within integrity. The more integral in integrity we are, the more we will thrive and grow individually and collectively. And the more individually and collectively we think, discern, rebuild individual and collective self-efficacy, or what I'm doing right now, to act with faith on your overstanding, on your integrity. We will have outegrity. And act and live within the clear light of truth. Welcome to the beginning of the light age and the end of, this crazy battle over human souls through the dark ages and the dark ones, intense mind and physical weaponry. Some people claim that truth is their religion, the real religion. The more it burns out the false authority of the many magnificent control narratives of lies that have built the faulty, rotten kingdoms of the junior god Lucifer that are currently being demolished, excavated, removed, and replaced with respectful, clear truth all around, the more we will feel it. The big, bad, forced dark ages are coming to an end, folks. And I'm thankful. The control narratives currently being demolished, excavated, removed, and replaced with respectful, clear truth all around. But don't think the dark side will ever give up. They won't. Yet they will have no life in truth because they can't. They can only live in lies. They can only live in deception. They can only live in shadow. They can only live and grow without the real sun. The only force aside from love that can take it all is truth. When you live and when you even exist, let alone live within truth, you will remember and discern. Integrity is who you really are. You are a person of integrity. Another word I have remembered from all of my reading, almost all of Carlos Castaneda's books. So thank you, my teacher and friend out there, wherever you are, and my family. If you have the courage, create a great one, folks.